right, everybody, welcome in PM of the AM. Sunday's morning will never be the same again. Your hosts, Pat Bernard and Mike Laro, are going to get things weird for you. Here you go, and I'm Big Al.
And everybody gets to see the voice of God this morning. That's right, Al is stepping in because, unfortunately, Pat is still trying to broadcast from Russia after the soccer game last night. So, boys, welcome in. Pat, welcome, buddy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Are you calling from a ColecoVision?
Poor Pat, man.
I'm out. Yeah. I'm out. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Just comment in then. We'll take care of it from here.
Yeah, we got you, Pat. We understand, man.
Yeah.
Well, Pat's gonna be monitoring our social medias for today.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
you'll see his goofball comments in the comments. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of his. Don't worry, you're not missing out.
Yeah, you won't be missing out with Pat not being here at the moment. But unfortunately, he's having some technical issues. But Al, dude, this baseball team of ours, huh? I mean, what a way to answer back last night.
Yeah, I mean this team shows. Listen, and I was gonna save it till a little later in the show, but I'm gonna mention this. I'm gonna put this out there. I did the Friday night shows, as you guys know, and I Fridays haven't been good for the Phillies. I mean, I think I've had one win. Actually, there have been two wins, but I of course couldn't do that Friday. So of course Matty B got the win. I gifted him the W, as I like to call it. But my point is there's a lot of negativity that surrounds this team, and I'm not saying they haven't earned it. Let me start with that. I'm not sitting here telling you that this team has not earned some of the piss and vinegar that this fan base has slung their way. Especially, it looks like the team has moved backwards from being in the World Series in 2022 to failing in the NLCS in 2023 and to just looking god awful. Which I try to keep that Mets series out of the back of my head. I try to flush it like Pat flushes a turd type thing. Like I try to just forget about it because I can't keep judging this team on the past. I mean, part of it you can because it's a lot of the same pieces, because it's the same skip, and I get that as well. But why watch the Phillies at all? Why if you just think that this team's just going to be nothing, why are we paying attention? Why are you doing what you do? I just don't get the negativity around this team because the team's had some cold moments, but I'm going to use the term, and I know we're going to wake the sleeping giant by saying this, but that's part of baseball. And part of baseball is ups and downs. 162 games, there's going to be ups and downs. It's you try to outweigh the ups and the downs, and I get it. But right now, record-wise, the team's not bad. You have to say they're probably top 5, 6, 7 teams in the league to go in on a World Series run. And that's all you can ask from a team right now in May at this point in time. Last night, I mean, Rangers' first start was not reassuring. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it was. But 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. You have Bryce Harper. Is he back? I think that was Adam who just put that out there. Is he back? I don't know. But that's a hell of a start.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and Harper's deserves some of the blame in this because he hasn't been our $330 million guy. The one guy that I was kind of hard on early in the season has really kind of turned it around at the plate, and that's Trey Turner. Turner, I felt last night, was doing the things he needed to do to get on base, and it really made it. I guess he put pressure on. The one thing I want to bring, it put pressure on the Guardians last night. The one thing, Al, I want to keep bringing up, though, about this Phillies team is, if you go back and look over this season so far, the one thing that is positive about this Phillies team is they are beating the hell out of bullpens this year.
Yeah, and listen, some of the bullpens they beat up, the common retort to that would be, No, they're not good bullpens. Yeah, it's the Nationals bullpen. I mean, Cleveland's a good team. I mean, you said it last night on your broadcast that pretty even. I mean, from a win-loss standpoint, they have a very good defense. They have very good pitching. They have some big boppers, but not a ton. You know what I mean? But the one thing I'm taking away, I think people are looking past. I'm looking at the Tampa series. I mean, the Tampa series, they could have, like, everybody was like, oh, they won the series. The third game's a getaway game. They were down, 5-1, 6-1, whatever at the one point. But they kept fighting. They could have been like, let's just throw the towel in. Let's just throw let the bench guys get some time and just regroup and come back. And listen, Friday night was an abysmal game. I literally said it myself. It's hard enough doing these shows when you work a full-time job, but when you have to come on a Friday night, when you've been working all week long, your back's sore, you're tired, kids drove you nuts. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all those mothers. I don't think we even touched on that. The biggest mother of them all is not even on here, Pat Bernard, right now, wherever he's at. My point is like, when a game's that stale and stagnant, so hard to watch. I mean, I even caught myself like, gotta stay awake. Gotta do a post game show here. Gotta stay awake. This is like,
yeah, it was rough Friday night to watch.
And I get it. Like everybody, that's what makes this fan base great and not great at the same time, because we do live and die by every game, even though it's 162 games. But that's like kind of the plus minus, Mike, that we live and die by every game when there's 162 games. It makes us passionate, but at the same time, it makes us. I mean, to talk about a roller coaster of emotions through a whole baseball season.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, too. Look at last night's game. Last night's game was a 1-0 game until the top of the 8th inning. So, you're sitting here going, are they going to waste this good pitching performance by Ranger Suarez? Because you're sitting there looking and you're going, okay, in the back of your mind going, we need a couple more runs. We need a couple more runs. And
you're probably sitting there going, are they going to score 1 run in 2 games? Like that type of thing. And listen, that's the kind of stuff that makes people get on them. And I get it. I'm not saying that they don't deserve criticism, because there's a difference between being critical of your team and just being downright forget about it. Almost like writing them off. There's a difference between criticizing, because the team has holes. I agree with that. There is areas that either need to be fixed or upgraded. And time will tell on that.
Well, here's the thing, too. For the first time in a long time, you actually have players in the pipeline that are playing very well. Okay, you got guys. I mean, granted, Aiden Miller's not going to get up here within the next couple. It's going to be a couple of years before we see him. But you got guys,
I wouldn't be surprised if it be next year too. I mean,
maybe. I mean, but you're looking at it. You have Otto Kemp, who's playing unbelievable down there. Mick Abel's pitching his ass off down there. Okay, he needs to be brought up. I mean, that's the one thing that I think me and Maddie agreed upon was like, all right, Mick Abel's been down in the minors long enough. We got to see him do something on this level. And Crawford's playing well. So, I mean, they have guys in the pipeline that they can bring up, which means now, as I'm looking at it, if I'm GM Mike Lauro, guess what? Alec Bohm is definitely movable at the trade deadline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would go I would bring Otto Kemp up and I would trade him. And believe it or not, I would do a package with, I would, do a package with Abel. What's the other guy? Abel, Alec Bohm, and then maybe Taijuan Walker. Okay. And then you kind of throw them at the cards and see if you can get an Aaron Nolanado and Ryan Halsey.
Yeah. I mean, if Taijuan Walker, because I know a lot of people think, oh, maybe he'll be the linchpin. Keep Ranger in the lineup and keep Taijuan Walker as your long guy in the bullpen, adding another depth piece into the bullpen, which, hey, in all intents and purposes, Mike, that could work out. I don't think it's sustainable, to be honest with you, especially come postseason. But if he can stay sustainable between now and the trade deadline, he becomes outside of that little bloated contract, he becomes a trade piece. And maybe somebody's willing to take Alec Bohm too. That's if, I mean, listen, I would love to see Otto Kemp come up and play, but is Otto Kemp going to be like that? I mean, he's no youngster. He's 20. I mean, he's not old either. I think he's 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, listen, but listen, that's a guy you got to give him a shot.
I'm not saying not give him a shot, but if he helps you get a trade in, Is he an untouchable? I'm asking, I guess.
No. Otto Kemp could be one of those guys that they move too. Now, I wouldn't want to see that, because if you have a guy like Otto Kemp, you can bring him up. He can be a bench piece for you for right now. Maybe give Nolan Arrow, or the guy from I can't pronounce his name for some Arenado. You could probably use him to give a break, on a couple of days off or whatever, just to get him some playing time up here. But you can have him going forward, and if you have a guy like him going forward, again, the more he plays and the better he's playing down at AAA is really lighting a fire under Alec Bohm. Now, Alec Bohm's had a decent kind of resurgence. He's batting.
Yeah, it's mediocre. I wouldn't, you're not going to run. You're not going to he's back.
Well, he's batting over 300. I mean, he was like around 330, 340 over his last 14 games. So, I mean, that's not nothing to shake a stick at. He's starting to play ball a little bit better, but I don't think his power numbers are where it's going to be at. I just don't. He's a doubles hitter, and and he goes the opposite way. For me, like I said, if you're going to if you're trying to push in for a chip, you got to go get a guy like Aaron Ronaldo. You got to go get him. You got to go get him. And if you can get Halsey, like I said, you don't have to give up the farm. From what I got told, the only 3 untouchables are basically Aiden Miller, Crawford, and the kid coming off the injury, Carpenter or Painter.
Yeah, well, I think here's my thing with Painter. Here's my stay on Painter. I think Painter has the ability to be a great pitcher. We're going to need him. You got guys like Wheeler getting older. Nola's not getting any younger. What does the future hold for Ranger Suarez? Christopher Sanchez looks like he could be here for a while, so there's a plus there. But other than that, like I said, Wheeler probably has another couple good years in him. Don't get me wrong, but he's not getting younger. And the only thing players can't beat is time. Time.
Let me ask you a question. With JT Realmuto, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Can you see the Phillies moving on from him? At the trade deadline, I can see the Phillies.
Oh, at the trade deadline.
At the trade deadline, I can
no,
see the.
No. Here's my thing: is I know I maybe I'm I get a lot of grief about the BCIB thing with him, and in all honesty, is he the best catcher in baseball right now overall? No, but he's one of the best in my eyes. Top 5 very easily. Definitely top 10, but top 5 in my eyes. Right there at the 5 spot, 6. 5, 6 if you want to make some arguments. But I'm just talking from calling a game, Mike. Like, look at the difference between Nola with and without JT, from Marchand to JT. The numbers are staggeringly different. Like, his ERA is like 3 times the amount when Marchand's calling a game versus JT. So that can't be looked past. He's still a hell of a defensive player. He has ups and downs at the plate, but if you leave him in, most catchers aren't usually the always big boppers. Guys are always hitting. We've always just been spoiled by JT in that sense. But now it's like, okay, but he still can whale the ball. He still has some great speed. He's not one of those guys you put him on the base path and you're like, oh, he's going to be a lumbering statue running around the base path. Like. We really don't have, like, Kyle Schwarber's a lot faster than he used to be. I mean, he's not going to be breaking any land speed records anytime soon. And Bohm's a little bit of a, he runs like a big goony tall guy. I mean, that's just the way he runs. But overall, we've had a lot of speed on the base paths most of the time. And I think that will be a difference maker if he can just, as long as he gets his plate discipline and keeps his head straight. And again, the one thing I think that I didn't get a chance to mention earlier is that from the last couple of weeks, take away wins and losses, the team has had a great mixture of small ball, manufacturing runs, as well as the long ball. Like, they haven't been relying on one or the other. And that's what is a championship caliber team is in my eyes. And I would love somebody to tell me right now I'm wrong, because I'm not, that this team is, that isn't what it makes a good team, a good mixture for a team. So with that being said, That's what we need to see from this team. And again, we're not falling into the team just like they were on by this time last year, Mike. We were just blown away by this team. They were on some friggin' tear. They looked like they couldn't lose a game even if they wanted to. Like if they were trying to give it away, somehow the baseball gods would luck them into a win. That's how good they were doing at that point. And then, of course, after the England trip and in the All-Star break, everything kind of just became mediocre at best. So they're not there, but they're also not what we were in 2022 and 2023, where we looked like we were out of it by now. Like we were just not going to be able to get back in it, and praying that the June gods of Schwarber and the guys in the Heat would just start heating this team up. You know, give Kyle Schwarber a lot of credit. Even last year when this team was struggling, he was still one of the top producers. And let me just put this out there. For all those Rob Thompson haters, I mean, the lineup has changed, and you break his stones when the lineup doesn't look like it's in a good way. I wouldn't have started Rafael Marchand on Friday, but that's just me. But those are the part of the head scratchers. But Bryson Stott, I mean, I think taking Trey Turner, putting him in that 2 spot takes a lot of pressure off of him. And it gives you Bryson Stott's been hitting well, so it gives you that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch that we haven't had. Schwarber in that cleanup spot, and then Nick Castellanos in that 5 spot. And depending on how other guys are hitting, right, is it going to be if Bohm gets a little better, if Max Kepler, is doing it, and then you have JT in the 7th spot. What more could you ask for? Like that's my thing. Is like I think this team, this fan base. Number one, we've tasted the fruits of labor in with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and we've seen this team kind of go backwards. Again, they've earned the wrath, but they've also earned the ability to give them a chance. You can't sit here and tell me this team isn't a viable championship team. There might be some small pieces made, but they're not like 9 pieces away from being a championship contender.
Right, exactly. And some people will have this Phillies team like, oh, well, they're mid. Well, I'm sorry. Vegas doesn't think they're mid. Vegas thinks they're one of the top 5 teams in baseball. Okay. And the only other team there's 3 National League teams and 2 American League teams. Okay. And the Phillies right now are like at 5. Okay. The Mets are at 3. The Dodgers are at 1. And I believe they have the Padres at like 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's only like 1 American League team that people are going, okay, they're going to be there. Other than that, like the National League's so wide open. And I'm telling you, I know the Dodgers won it a year ago, but I'm looking at it like this. They lose out more in the playoffs than they do win. Like they'll get into the postseason. The Dodgers have that payroll to get them into the postseason.
Okay. And that caliber, but they also are a lot older too now. I mean, they were able to win it last year on the back of the Yankees. Some players like Aaron Judge falling apart, like just not playing.
Soto.
Soto. Juan Soto. Yeah, like guys who just didn't pan out when the time was to pan out. And don't forget, the Dodgers are on the, for the people talk about how old the Phillies are, go look at the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman ain't no youngster anymore. Mookie Betts, like, look at all these guys. These guys ain't youngsters.
Blake Snell. Blake Snell. I mean,
and let me tell you something. The American League, the best team in the American League right now are the Yankees. Are the best team in the American League East, I should say, are the Yankees. Pretty much almost the same exact record as the Phillies. You know what I mean? The Tigers right now are still turning heads at 26-14.
I'll tell you what. Did you hear the? I believe it was on the broadcast last night. Did you hear like all the win totals of the teams in the Central right now? Like Detroit's got like a 5-game winning streak. Cleveland had a 3-game winning streak going into last night. Detroit's was on like a
everybody but the White Sox. I mean, everybody right now, the Tigers are 8-2 in their last 10. The Guardians were 7-3. Royals were 8-2, and the Twins are 8-2. But here's my thing: is you want to know what mid is? Here's mid: the Twins and the White Sox. The Blue Jays, the Tampa Bay Rays, these teams are mid. That's a mid team. See, that's my thing is we're getting a little too spoiled, and this is why Philly sometimes can't have nice things.
Yeah,
like it's just like I'm not sitting there saying they shouldn't win a championship. Don't get me wrong, because I knew that's what somebody's going to say. That this thing, this is good enough, and I'm not saying that. But I'm saying is, we're in May, and we're barely halfway through May yet. And people are calling this team mid. I mean, it's the same people are telling us in 2022 that, oh my God, with this payroll and they're not going to even make the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. It's like, let it play out. Who's mid right now? The Braves are mid. The Braves are a mid team when everybody thought they were going to be the number one team out there. Now they're making some of a bit of a comeback because they were really bad for a while. But, I mean, they're still behind us. The Cardinals are mid and the Reds are mid. I mean, there's no really team. I'm looking at the standings right now. There is no real team in my eyes who are just running away with. I mean, the Padres and the Dodgers are doing really well. Even the Giants up there, all above 600, 600 or better in their lineup. It's like, let it play out a little bit.
And you know what's funny? The Phillies are either 500 or better against two of those teams out west. Okay, yeah. They're 500 against the Giants. They split the 4-game series here, but they took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. And if you look at their winning record against these top teams in the in the National League, and I got to exclude Atlanta because when we played Atlanta, they were not a top team. Okay, but against the Mets, they're 8-7. So they have a winning record against the winning teams.
Listen, that Mets series didn't help people's fandom. Let's just call it for what it is. After getting just bloodied and bludgeoned unnecessarily to a team, I'm going to call them like a lesser team than we were. They were just a hotter team at the time. In the postseason last year, you would have thought there would have been some fire in the gullet of this team. And there is times I can see where you feel like this team's lifeless. Last night was a team I used the term. I mean, not last night. Friday night was a term I used listless a lot because the team was just kind of going through the motions and not. I know I'm going to get the excuse thing coming up or anything like that, but it's not excuses. Like it's just. I don't know. They just look tired. They look out of it, not to, I know they're professionals and maybe that's where Robbie needs to come in there and make sure they're managed a little better off the field than on the field in some ways. So they're prepared and energized more than just giving Rafael Marchand the start. That's where I would like to see some things change because there is times that this team just seems a little beat down and tired, but they are human too. Sometimes people forget this. I have to argue that with a certain person that runs this certain network here that we join in on.
Well, here's another thing too. About a week ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, people were bringing up the kid Austin Hayes, right, that we traded for last year.
Hayes,
Austin Hayes. He's having a really good year, right, with the Reds. And if you can turn around and look at the guy that we brought in, really to kind of take his place, Matt Kepler. Kepler's got more home runs than he does. He's got a higher batting average, and then Kepler's only batting like 240. So. Again, I'm looking at it like this. I love the Max Kepler move. When we had our Fighting's final preview, I said they finally got somebody that's going to help out towards the bottom of that lineup when making contact. And Kepler does, man. I really do. I like the fact that he did that. And what Adam's saying right here too, Brandon Marsh, he took a little bit of a beating, man. But you know what? And it was deserved. But this dude is raising his points up in his batting average, about to be over 200. He's about to hit the Mendoza line.
Listen, I think Marsh kind of knows the writing's on the wall for him.
Yep, I said that last night.
I think he knows that. So what do we always say? Like, where do I judge a team? Not on the wins and losses, but on how they respond to the loss, especially the bad loss, like Friday night. That was a bad loss, lifeless loss. How do they respond? You put 6 up us, we'll put 7 up on you.
Yeah, and it was really refreshing to see. I mean, sitting here watching this game, being because I what I do, whenever I'm doing the Fighting's final, I will have this open, okay, and I'll be sitting back. There's my 75-inch right behind me. I sit right back, turn my chair right around. I watch the game from here. I take my notes, and I'm sitting here watching that game last night. Like I was saying to you earlier. 1-0 going up to the 8th inning. I was like, Jesus God, man, if they could only get some more runs. And then you had Sosa and Stott, like they made the first 2 outs quick. Like what impressed me last night about the Phillies, okay, is that they got 6 runs on 2 outs. 6 runs with 2 outs. I mean, this is something that's been plaguing this team. They're starting to knock in runners in scoring position. Yesterday, they were 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Okay, it's about 500. We'll take it. To me, and what also I liked yesterday too is out of the bullpen, Hernandez had a solid 8th inning. Okay, yesterday these were guys that when they came into the game, you were just like, oh no, not these guys. Him and Ross. Now Ross got touched up for a run in the 9th inning, but overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this bullpen. Now, what I would like to see Robbie do is stop doing this BS bullpen by committee thing, and
That's
just
one thing we can all agree upon. Yeah.
He's got to pick a closer. And I'm telling you now, if they do make the trade and they go out and they get a Halsey from St. Louis, you already know he's closing games. He's closing games. Oh, I don't know if you know, our boy Craig Kimball is now pitching for the Gwinnett Braves. He's in the Braves AAA system. He's pitching down there.
Here's my thing. Some guys just need to know when to hang it up. And he's just never going to be the same again. Like, I mean, we had a nice little run with him until he didn't. And just needs to give it up. Like some guys just need to know. Like, it's enough. Enough's enough.
So, Al, we got Zach Wheeler going tonight.
Yep.
Now, he's been kind of shaky. I'm not going to lie. He hasn't been, the Zach Wheeler that we're known seeing. What do you think you're going to get out of him tonight in Cleveland? Guys, in case you don't know, it's a national game. ESPN has it. So
yeah, it's a 6:45, I believe, or 6. Hold on, I just had it up. 6. It's like it's 6 o'clock. 7:10. 7:10. Sorry, 7. I keep saying 6. 7:10. Yeah, so it's a great night for this, and I'm excited about it because it's Mother's Day. We just talked about, and I know one of the questions we'll usually ask during the show, usually towards the end of the show, what are we eating tonight? Guess what? It ain't pasta, Pat. It ain't pasta. It is. I'm actually barbecuing tonight. Broke it out. I actually spent yesterday getting the old what's it called? Blackstone. Just grinded down, re-seasoned it. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. But putting the TV out back, it's a beautiful day for it. Putting the TV out back on the new deck, and going to watch the Phillies take on the Guardians at 7:10 tonight.
Oh, okay. So what time am I coming over?
Whenever you want, Mike. You're always welcome. You're one bad mother. It's Mother's Day, so
Mother's Day, yeah. I mean, I'll bring a dip or something. But anyway,
oh, you're bringing Pat?
No.
Different dip.
Al, you ain't got enough food.
Yeah, different dip.
Enough food. Yeah, different dip. But yeah. Again, to me, this is, you have Mother's Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. You're doing it right, man. I got to give it to you. You got the grill going. You're going to have the TV on, the game on. What better way to spend Sundays in between, late spring and summer, man? I mean,
these are the weekends. Like, it's like spring weekend. Like, this is beautiful. It's sunny. It's 70 degrees. Got a little light breeze. These don't come often. I mean, it's either gonna get rainy or you're gonna get hot, and nobody's gonna want to sit outside. These are the nights that you get to really enjoy outside and baseball at the same time without being down at the ballpark. And just gonna utilize the deck. I never had a deck before, so I'm utilizing it.
There you go. Well, speaking of utilization, our boy Matty B, that's right, he will be back tonight at 10:30. Well, I believe it's the new time is 10:30, right?
Something like that. I'm not sure. Is he doing it tonight with the?
I don't know. I don't know if he's doing it because the only reason being is because our boy Matty B is doing the Fighting's final tonight.
So now he's not on tonight. It's just the Fighting's final tonight because by the time it gets done, it's 10 o'clock.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah. So there is no Matty B tonight or last word. The final word. You're just going to be getting the post game show for the Phillies
Fighting's final, and make sure you tune in on Thursdays. Our boy Pat Bernard and Steve Fuentes, they have you covered with the Union. And
who doesn't love Steve Fuentes? That's all I have to say is who doesn't love Steve Fuentes?
Steve Fuentes. And if you love Pat, you're going to get even more Pat because guess what? The wraparound returns Friday night, 10:30. That's right. Our boy Pat Bernard, a.k.a. the Gobbler. Yes, he will be handling the wraparound. He's taking over for Sal. And
we're calling him Pat 5K.
Pat 5K. So,
56 kilobytes over here.
Yep. And, of course, you got us every Sunday morning. Pat comes on. I got to give it to him. Pat is Bugs Bunny. He is our Bugs Bunny, dude. He is definitely our Bugs Bunny. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's nice to have Pat here running smooth so far, right?
Well, here's the thing. unfortunately, like, look, you can hear now. I got my windows closed and everything, and I live off of McDade Boulevard, so here in Delco, you hear everything. So,
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, you guys are going to hear what I just heard there, and
you might hear my dryer buzz. God only knows.
yeah, exactly. So, hey, we try to keep it as professional as possible, but we can't control what we can't control. But Al, I want to move on. By the way, you think the Phils get the win tonight? They're Cleveland's pitcher is Luis Ortiz. He's 2-3 with a 5.30 ERA. He's got 40 Ks, 20 walks, with a 1.42 WHIP. He's going against Wheeler, who's 3-1, 335, 66 strikeouts, 9 walks, and a 0.94 WHIP. Do you like the Phillies in this one?
I mean, on paper, absolutely. I have to like the Phillies on this one. I mean, you're going to have one of the best pitchers in the National League and going up against one of the most mid pitchers in the National League right now. I mean, he gives up strikes, but he also gives up plenty of walks. So it's going to be plate discipline day, boys. Do it for mama and be disciplined at the plate. This is the day you need to wake up in the morning, look at yourself. Even if these cupcakes come across the plate occasionally, you need to look at yourself. You have to say, let him throw me some pitches. Work the pitch count. Let me throw him some pitches, and work that and get to that bullpen fast.
All right, we're going to touch on the Sixers just briefly. I want to get your thoughts and opinions on the press conference that Daryl Morey had this week, saying he's going to run it back with Paul George, Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, and of course, hearing the so-called rumor of Embiid maybe being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. What are your thoughts on that?
At this point, man, listen, Mike, I told you before, I had to give you credit. Like, you had the Embiid thing pegged from the start. At this point, get what you can get for him. If you can move on from his bloated contract and get a decent picks or players out of the deal, then so be it. Like, this team can't win as constructed. I mean, this is the team where the piss and vinegar is deserved. Like, this is the team that, like, the Phillies have a championship caliber team. The Sixers do not. Unless Embiid somehow just miraculously stays healthy and Paul George learns not to be a complete dingleberry, then maybe. But that's a big maybe. And it's a big old, I feel bad for the other players, the young players who are just stuck in this rut with this team. And, Tyrese Maxey, like, the question is, if you got a nice trade offer from him, do you take it? Because is he going to be here when we need him to be or not?
I think so.
He could be. I think he could be. But here's the thing is, you got to hope that this team, and I mean by this organization team, is going to make the right moves. They made some, decent draft picks with Tyrese Maxey. But other than that, they haven't done much to put any real just confidence behind them making these decisions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, are the Sixers doomed to? Are they just like the Flyers? Like, they had one good run back in the 80s and haven't had much since, except for 2001, and then this small run with Embiid here that just never
materialized.
Yeah. I don't. There's no good answer for this team now. For a fan base to be out on a team, it's the Sixers. I always said the Sixers were like the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA in some ways, because they thought they were better than others when they really, really weren't. Like, that's how I look at it.
It was bad. I mean, towards the end of the season, dude, like, you could go on like StubHub, like, they had lower level seats. I'm talking like 100 level seats for $4. Like, that's an embarrassment.
It's not even just that and being an embarrassment, but I had tickets I couldn't give away. And they were like great seats through my job. They offered to me half the time, like, I don't want to spend the $30 to park and the another $100 to buy food and drink for me and whoever I'm going with to watch that muck.
Yeah,
I'd rather just order a pizza and sit at my house, and then when they suck after 12 minutes, I can turn it off.
Right, exactly.
That's how bad it is. Like, I mean, you've seen the setup in my basement. I had that extra TV there, so I can put on maybe a game I'm not as interested in, or if there's two things going on. And I had, for the first half of the season, maybe even less, I had the Sixers on the small TV on mute so I could keep my eye on it. And after a while, I'm like, no, I'd rather just turn it off. I'm wasting electricity watching them. That's how bad this team is. So, yes, trade Embiid. Get whatever you can get for him. Get off that bloated contract. And Paul George while you're at it. At least that time. And maybe Tyrese Maxey might have a chance of competing as a Sixer.
Yeah.
And put some really good big guys around him who could do their job and let them build around him. And who else? Who's the young guy they just got?
Jared McCain.
Jared McCain.
Yeah.
Build around him, build around that. It's not going to happen this year. But if you can get off those 2 bloated contracts, and like I said, I kind at parts of me feels bad for Embiid, and parts of me but like he brought it on himself a little bit in some ways. Not the injury part, but like just staying in shape. Like the Olympics thing. I just can't let it go, Mike. Am I being like am I being like a jilted girlfriend here, like who just can't let it go? Like the whole, you come out as a Sixers organization. He will not play back-to-back games. He will not do that. He cannot play night after night. If there's a back-to-back game, he's taking a night off one night there. But he needs to be like, the Olympics are not as important as my career, and to the fan base of the Sixers, who have paid me richly, who've made me a lot of money. And that's where I get upset about this. I understand it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I want to add gold medal to my trophy case. I got my MVP, and I got my gold medal. But at one point, that's all individual accolades. At one point, it's like, now, man, this is not about you anymore. It's about Mike, it's about Al, and it's about the rest of the Phillies fan or the Sixers fan base out there who deserves better. We have been treated like garbage by this organization from top to bottom. Yep. It is all about the bottom dollar with the ownership. They are the most absentee landlords you've ever met in your life. I honestly hope, like in all honesty, that we could wipe the slate clean. I hope they move this Sixers team to like Seattle. Make them the new Supersonics. Take the organization and go. And then let them add in another Philadelphia franchise to the NBA. And call it the Sixers. Call it the 76ers. I don't care. But wipe the slate clean. New ownership. Forget about 1983. Forget about 2001 Allen Iverson. Stop living off those dreams. You know what I mean? Like, you can say a lot about the same thing about the Flyers that I'm saying right now. But at least I feel like they're at least trying to do better. I don't feel like the Sixers as an organization are trying to do anything but piss me off.
Right. But here's the thing, Al. Right. Yesterday, I was on with our buddies, James Scorza and Joey Marks. I was on passing.
I'll be on there soon, too, with them as well.
Yeah. I was on there with them guys yesterday. And believe it or not, like, there's more people coming over to my side of the hill now, with the whole trade and beat thing. And I even told Joey Marks yesterday, I said, Joe, listen, buddy. I said, they missed the boat on trading him. They should have traded him 2 years ago. I'm like, if the Lakers are willing to give up 2 number ones and a couple of expiring contracts for him now, can you only imagine what they could have gotten 2 years ago? They could have gotten LA's first pick for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And think about it. There's been years where they missed the playoffs, and you would have had those picks. Again, Morey is a moron. Like, I'm so sick of Josh Harris. Like, listen, dude, he's an absentee landlord when it comes to the Devils. He's an absentee landlord now to the Sixers because he bought the Washington Commanders. He's an absentee landlord. You're right. They need to sell the team. They need to, like you said, I don't care about this team moving. If you're going to have a Philadelphia 76ers, they need, I called it an enema. They need an enema. Like, they need one bad.
Well, they've been giving us one.
Well, and that's the thing. They want us to help them pay for a new stadium, right, in South Philly coming up, right? I guess they're going to find somewhere down there to throw up another arena. Okay, you want us to help us pay for that, but you're not putting a product on the court that we.
Well, they're not getting another arena now. I don't think they are. I think they're going to put money into revamping this arena a little bit. They're building up around there. I think the city stepped in and I think that's what Jeff Lurie's trying to do. They have the live casino and hotel there. I think they're going to build up more of a nightlife in hotels around there that it's going to make. Why would you want to move yourself away from there? Divorce yourself from where all the sports. I mean, it's one of the better sports compounds in the country. Like
it is,
but
that's how he is. If you look at it,
I know.
like Josh Harris did the first thing he did when he bought the Devils was he took them from out of East Rutherford down to Newark. Now, granted, East Rutherford doesn't have the same setup we do. I mean, you had the Meadowlands Arena, and then you had Giant Stadium there, and they had a couple things, but as far as going over, the way, like you said, the nightlife and what people do down there, and if you look at it, if you're in say you're in May, okay, you got 3 of the 4 sports teams. If the if the 2 winter teams make the postseason, dude, that area is just jumping.
I mean, yeah, I would like to see them build up a couple of parking garages in the area, and some of those old lots that could, build up instead of out. And build up some more restaurants in nightlife area, and maybe not another arena wouldn't be necessary, but another more nightlife. Adams asked, "What do you guys think about the new name, Xfinity Mobile Arena?" And I'm like,
I like it. I mean,
I don't know why they're still doing Xfinity. It's not like you don't know they don't have mobile, but hey, maybe that they pay people a lot more money than you and me, Mike, to figure that one out. I know, the nicknames have been coming out like Xmo, the Xmo or something like that, or
the Xmo Arena. Hey, look, in Philly, we're going to definitely try to get it done. And Pat has rejoined us here. What's up, buddy? Oh, he's just checking in. But
he's muted. I don't think he knows that much.
Am I alive, or am I still Windows 93?
Maybe Windows 98. We'll put you up to Windows 98 right now. Get a small upgrade.
Did it?
What?
Pat, you're still bad.
Those parking garages would be $60 parking. Those parking lots are going to be $60 parking. I mean, but at least there'll be more parking. That's my point. Is these lots get filled up so quickly anymore. They need to build up those parking garages. I'd rather pay $60 and know I'm going to get a spot than. I mean, I don't know about Nooms. I don't know how often you go down to the complex in the area, and an Eagles game is atrocious anymore. I went down 3 hours before an Eagles game, not this year, but the year before for the Eagles-Dallas game. 3 hours I went down, and I missed the first half of the first quarter because I had to drive around and finally hope till the people who were there tailgating started leaving so they would open up more parking spots. So I would rather pay $60 a spot to park, 50, 45, 50, but I'd rather pay knowing that spot's going to be there versus $30 to $35 and cross my fingers and hope for the best. I don't know. I always park in South. Where do you park in South? Like a friend's house? I used to have friends that they don't live down anymore.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful with that because the parking authority during the games.
Well, they gave them their stickers. They give them I parked in my buddy's back driveway at one point. He was cool like that. He would park on the street the day before and then me park in the back. But that's the problem. If you don't have at my godfather's house, well, yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, how many let's think about this for real. How many row homes are in legitimate walking distance from there versus how many people come down there? That's my other thing is you should have a couple parking garages for just people there to park, not the tailgaters. You have the tailgating lots, at Citizens Bank Park, at the Link, maybe Jetro, things like that. I mean, then those ones that are maybe right past them that are kind of beat up and shitty anyway. And let's be honest, tiny bit questionable. I pulled up to a couple of them, paid somebody. I'm like, did I just pay somebody this cash to F me over? That's what I was a little afraid of. But that's my point is if you take them, repave them and build them up, there's a bunch of old dilapidated buildings there anyway, and they would make a lot more money. I mean, parking garages in the city are you could become a billionaire off those things. I know guys who are extraordinarily wealthy for parking garages in the city of Philadelphia. That's what they do. They don't do anything else. Once they build it, it's all low overhead. It pays for itself in 2 years.
Yeah. Adam says there's a plan to make more restaurants and improve parking and traffic down there. Yep.
Yeah. They're talking about getting an exit to go in right into there, because coming down Patterson Ave, going over Broad Street. That's where we would come, the old Delco back door we used to call it. Yeah. Coming over to Flat Bridge. It's getting hard. It's really hard. You can just smooth sail over the Platte into turn on to Patterson, get halfway down Patterson, like right by the NovaCare complex, and then just like when you get to that light, you can sit there for like 2 freaking hours. It's like they really do. Like it's getting bad. Like mainly for Eagles games. I mean, Phillies games are a little bit bad. Sixers and Flyers games, no. Some concerts I've been to, but like all in all, they really, 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 really do need to improve that. That's where I hope they put the money in. I have an expired parking permit for my in-laws.
That's great. All right.
We used to back in the day. I don't know if you guys ever did this, but back in the day, if you had a cop buddy, you used to put like his badge number and phone number on your dashboard, and I would park like right in front of, like right on Patterson Ave there, and they would be like, if they saw it, they would call it.
Just
yeah. Well, the Navy Yard's a good area to park. You can actually kind of walk. They should have like a shuttle running back and forth. I think Chicky and Peach should run their shuttle there and just charge people. They probably make a killing.
Yeah. Real quick, Al, before we dive into the Birds, what is your feeling on the Flyers draft, where they fell in the lottery, and who are you thinking that's going to be the next head coach of this Flyers team?
I hope it's a young nobody. Let me put it that way. I mean, I probably won't. I'm not. I'm getting to the point where I'm bullish on the Flyer retreads, just because it just never seems to pan out for them. I want to see a young guy who's been like a stalwart part of the young organizations that have been successful over the last few years, that just wants his chance and his opportunity, and a guy who can work with these young guys. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. That's what we need. And maybe you bring in like a Tortorella style coach, Lavi style coach, because I mean they have to have accountability, but it's just like, you're trying to get blood from a stone sometimes. Now, they have this number, the 6th overall pick, which isn't too bad. Could have been better, possibly, if they didn't go on a tear at the end of the season. But I mean, I'm okay with number 6.
Now, question. One name I've been hearing is Jeff Halpern from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's a bench coach for them, or assistant coach. I wouldn't mind seeing them give him a shot, but I also wouldn't mind them keeping Brad Shaw. I mean, it looked like that team played for him last year. It was like soon as he was out the door.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just like it was that like, oh, Tortorella's gone, and it's that that I always worry about that a little bit when these guys have, even people said that about Rob Thompson. Like, was it because of I don't know. I don't think you make from June, early June, all the way to the postseason, all the way to the World Series, just because of that. But was that little bit of boost that they have, was that because of the loss of Tortorella? I mean, was this team just done with Tortorella?
Yeah, that's what I think happened. I think Tortorella didn't want to continue with the plan. I guess he felt like maybe he's up and ready. But
well, he also clapped back at the organization a little bit, which you don't do.
Right. I'm going to throw another name out there that's been a little surprising that we haven't heard much of, because a lot of people were talking about the old coach that just got fired and went to the Rangers.
The Pittsburgh coach.
Yeah,
Pat had a boner for him.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but the guy that was there before him, that was Mike Sullivan, I think, that went to
Sullivan.
Sullivan went to the Rangers, but I wouldn't mind Dan Bylsma, who was there before him, and he won a couple cups. So
there was a guy, was it Quenneville? Quenneville, I always say his name wrong. Quenneville.
Oh yeah, Joe Quenneville. Yeah, that dude. Yeah,
he went to the Ducks, I believe.
Did he really? They brought him back because he's the guy that had to step away in Chicago for like sexual assault or something. Yeah. Remember that they wanted him here. I think he took Chicago over us, and then he got nabbed with like some type of sexual assault case or something. I just remember something with Joe Quenneville. I remember him from his time with the Blues, but I just wanted your opinion. I think there's going to be too many people bidding for Tocchet. I think Tocchett's going to end up in Pittsburgh. I really, truly do. I don't know why. I can just.
My question is Rick Tocchet the right guy, or is it just because of the name? Well, what makes it?
I don't know, man. Like for me, you know, I think it's yeah. He also has a connection with the organization as well. But I mean, if you're looking at all the teams that are one like Al, like they're saying now that Tockett's going to benefit. He's going to set the mark for coaching in the NHL, like as far as years and money. Like that's how many teams are
Really?
interested.
Oh, they're saying like that. I thought they
Yeah.
were saying like, oh, he's
Not like it. Like I think there's like 4 teams right now that want Tocchet. Like he's already interviewed with the Flyers. I think he's already interviewed with. They brought it up yesterday. It was, I'm trying to remember who the hell else he. It might have been Anaheim. It might have been the Ducks that he did. That he interviewed for. I'm not sure, but I know it was like. And then he has like Pittsburgh upcoming. Chicago, was it Chicago? Maybe Chicago. I'm not sure.
I would say here's my thing is I would rather see if they're going to stay on a Flyers kick. I would rather see him stay internally right now. Bradshaw, give him the chance.
Or Ian LaPerriere.
Ian LaPerriere is a name that keeps coming up. I know he's been working well with the young guys, but the problem is who do you replace him with? Can you replace him? You know, sometimes you can be so good at your job you're afraid to move him up because then who do you replace him with? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I do with Lappy.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to go. I'm going to go outside.
What's the guy? He just won the national championship. I know his name's been thrown around a little bit. Ferscherweller or something like that.
Pat Freshweiler, yeah.
Freshweiler, yeah. I know his name's popped up in a lot of stuff that I read.
There was somebody coaching in the KHL too. Somebody was coaching over there in the KHL. They were talking about bringing them in. So yeah, that's why to me personally, I wouldn't mind giving Jay Woodcroft a look either. He's the ex-coach at Edmonton Oilers.
A couple of guys here are liking Lappy. So for me, this is Snooms. For me, Lappy would be a good compromise between in-house and someone not originally with the organization. Yeah, the Western Michigan guy. That's it. Pat Freshweiler or Fershweiler. I don't know. Some hockey names, man. I could never listen. One sport I could never be an announcer for would be hockey. I'd be butchering these names.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the Birds. The schedule comes out this week. And I'm going to share with you guys. If you're looking right here, I went to NFL schedule leaks on X, and these are just some of the games that supposedly have been leaked for this upcoming season. Now, I want to give you this one, dude. Wait till you hear the lineup for Thanksgiving. I don't know if you're gonna want to.
I think I've seen the same thing. I think Fox Sports posted, but keep going.
It's Pittsburgh at Detroit at 1:00, which I think that would be a decent game. 4:30, the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if I'd be into that one. And then
I actually saw in the Fox Sports one Bears Lions because of that whole Ben Johnson thing. I've seen the Cowboys Packers or Packers at Cowboys and Ravens Bengals.
Now, see, I got 3 different games. I had Pittsburgh, Detroit at 1, Arizona at Dallas for the second game, and then the night game. This is a brutal one. The Los Angeles Rams at the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's like a snooze fest. I hope the Fox Sports one's like that one.
I like yours a little bit better. Another one they have here is Week 13 Monday Night Football. New York Giants at New England Patriots.
I saw Black Friday, the Patriots Titans.
Did you? I seen that too.
And I keep seeing for Christmas Day, Eagles Chiefs floating around.
I don't think they're going to do that because the Chiefs were on Black Friday last year. They were in a Black Friday game. They played Pittsburgh last year on Black Friday, so I don't think they're going to do that.
You don't think they'll put them on Christmas?
No. If anything, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's probably going to be I think that's going to be a middle of the road, like middle of the season Monday Night Football game. Or even Sunday night. I think Sunday night might pick that up. Because right now, from what I'm hearing, the Eagles could have as much as 6 primetime games. this year. And if that's the case, I mean, you already know. Who do you think they're going to open with?
That's a good question. I don't know. And Adam's asking, do you think the Eagles will play well? I don't think they play anybody. I don't think anybody. I don't think they play anybody in their division, I should say.
Really? You don't think so? I think
not week one.
If it's me, I want to open with the Cowboys. I want to kick their ass right from the start. What better way? You know,
again, I just don't see them picking a for coming off a Super Bowl. I don't see them picking a divisional rival.
I would to me, that's who I want. I want the Cowboys because if you remember, Jalen, a couple years ago, we went to Dallas on week 2 on Monday Night Football, and they beat us pretty bad. They beat us by like 21. And if you remember, they had all the old Cowboys in the house, and they decided late in that game to do the old tribute to the old Roger Staubach era Cowboys, where all the linemen, stood up and then, dropped down, and they were just hamming it up. I would love to do our banner dropping with them in the building and then just kick the living what out of them.
I mean, the Cowboys, I think I like even more than Washington. I think you're going to see the revival of the Eagles Washington.
I love it because you know what? I think
it's going to make it fun because it's going to be like when Eagles and Dallas were kind of matched, but then Dallas got into this point where it's like they just can't get over a hump. So it's almost like you were expecting them, even if they did good, they were going to fail. I mean, when we fell apart in 2022 or in 2023, Cowboys went in. Oh, look at this, look at that, and they lost to Green Bay. Like they got hammered. So, like, I think you're going to see because both teams could very much be good, viable championship caliber teams. Also, my producer handed me a note here. I don't know if you saw him peeking in behind the curtain there. He wants to let you know the Savannah Bananas game at Citizens Bank Park will be July 26th and 27th. So he wants to go to that. It was a nice way of saying, Dad, take me to the Savannah Banana game.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Another one scheduled leaking for the Eagles. Through their source, it says Eagles at New York Giants week 2, 1:00. So I'm trying to get all the Eagles games that are supposedly leaked. Did you see the Brazil game? Did you see who was like?
Oh, it's like Washington. Who was the other team? It was like Washington. It was like not a great lineup, to be honest with you.
No, like it's. I'm trying to look now. What is it? There you go, international games. I'm trying to look and see what it was because I know they put it up. Oh, here we go. Damn, they just had it the other day. They had it leaked.
This was Madrid rumored. That would be Dolphins and Commanders on week 11. That's a rumor. London, week 5, Minnesota versus Cleveland. Week 6, Denver versus the Jets.
Yes.
Week 7, the Rams versus the Jags.
Yes, that's the exact same one that I heard. The exact same one that you looked. One game that I've been hearing about that they're maybe trying, if we do get a Christmas Day game, they're looking to put us going to Buffalo to play the Bills.
Christmas Day.
Bills.
Day.
Eagles.
Could be a matchup. I mean, it could be also a big day to post bail for somebody. You're gonna have to use those Amazon gift cards you get to bail out, your brother or your sister or something for power bombing somebody through a plastic table.
Oh man, this is just so funny. And it's funny too because like when I'm going through this Twitter here, I see a lot of Cowboys fans thinking like they're entitled to come play the Eagles on opening night. I think it's really funny. Like your team hasn't earned the right to come play us. We're the champs. Okay. Like it'll be decided. You'll get your shot at us when you get your shot at us. But it's so funny. It's like, oh, well, we're going to give you a reminder. Well, what reminder? I mean, okay, yeah, you didn't have your starting quarterback last year. That's understandable. But for you to, I'm sorry, I don't think Dak Prescott, is really going to come in here and beat the Eagles.
Well, there's actually a rumor on Sports Illustrated, I'm looking here now, that the Vikings may play 2 international games back-to-back weeks. They would play week 4 in Dublin against the Steelers, and then week 5 in London against Cleveland.
Wow.
So they would stay international. They would just have to go from Dublin to England, which
it's a train ride.
Yeah.
It's a train ride. But like I said, that's who I want. I want the Cowboys on opening night. I want them to see us drop that banner. I want them to be in that place that's going to be just electrifying. And what better way to start the season than just to beat their ass in front of the nation and show them that they are not as good as they think they are. That Dak Prescott thinks that that they're going to Dak Prescott came out a few weeks ago and said that pretty much put up. Oh well, I kind of own the Eagles. Okay, but again, Dak got wins against the Eagles when our starting quarterback was out. A lot of people forget. Carson Wentz went to Dallas and whipped up on Dak and them boys 37-9. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of meaningless games at the end of seasons when we would split with the Cowboys.
And that's why I'm like right here, Adam, saying that the NFL should let the Super Bowl champions pick who they want to play, and that will never happen. They pay people big money to make sure the right matchups are at the right time to get the right potential ratings here. Viewer, squeeze every juice out of that lemon. And honestly, to be honest with you, for the first game of the season, it means nothing to me. In all honesty, like who they play, because we all know guys can come out and play real well. Look at the Saints last year; they came out on a tear in the first couple, and then they just fell apart. So it means nothing.
How about that news?
Derek Carr retired.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Eagles need to go. Tanner McKee, was nice knowing you.
Oh, I think that's going to happen. I definitely think that's going to happen. But
real quick before we go, because I know we're going to be closing up in a second. Again, all of us want to wish a happy Mother's Day to those out there, your moms, your wives, your sisters, your aunts, everybody, and even those bad MFers like Mike out there, all those happy mothers out there. We thank you. You're awesome. And
don't forget
putting up with your additional child in your life. Us.
And for you guys who have side pieces, don't forget them too.
Yeah. Side pieces are mothers too. You got to remember them. I support single moms.
$1 at a time.
$1 at a time.
So we all know what Al's doing for dinner. Me, I have no clue, so I'll probably be at Al's.
You better stop. That's the beauty. We live so close to each other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm stopping over.
I'll bring a dip. I told you that.
I know. You said you're going to bring Pat.
No, I can't bring Pat. You don't have enough food. Pat would eat you out in a
luckily, there's a giant supermarket 5 feet away from my house at all times.
Yeah, and Pat would be the kid running around going, "Can we get one of these? Can we get one of these?" Be like, Pat, I only brought $200.
That's a good question. I think Pat is one of those kids. Like, I guarantee he was food shop when he was younger. Like when you food shop with the kids, and all of a sudden this box of cereal that wasn't in there 30 seconds ago was in there. But Pat puts like whole hams in there, whole leg hocks of ham, and like. That's what I imagine Pat would like. Pat probably still does that. Monique probably does goes food shopping. She probably cringes when Pat goes, "Ooh, I'm going to go with you." Pat probably stops off at the hot food section, where all the fried chicken and the mac and cheese, the make your own platters are. And he probably walks around with the whole open container and goes, "Don't worry, babe. When we weigh this, it's going to be a lot less by the time I get it up there."
Yeah, I actually feel bad for Mo. She probably turns her back 1 second, comes back and goes, "Pat, where did we get a whole pig from?" You know what I mean? So that would be Pat. Pat would be trying to walk out of there with a pig underneath his cart. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "Oh, we're having bacon for days."
Oh, he's gonna walk out with barbecue sauce around his face.
Yeah, talking about I didn't
eat any of this food to make it lighter. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, now we ready to take this bad boy home?
All right, guys. Thank you for watching It's a Wrap Sports Network. Thank you for watching PMAM. I know it was a little later today. Pat is not allowed at buffets anymore. He's got a picture of him up at the buffets.
Pat just sent me an instant message. He said food is better than porn. That's
no. He's meant to say is he treats food like people treat porn.
Probably.
Yeah.
So Pat'll be appearing Wednesday night at the Blue Oyster, everybody. So make sure you go see him there.
And then you can catch him Thursdays with Steve Finentes on Attacking Third. And you can catch him on Fridays for the It's a Wrap. And of course, Sunday mornings here with you and me for PM and AM. Check Thursday through Sunday, or Sunday through Thursday, I should say, for the final word with Matty B, or at least his final word. He thinks it's the final word, but it's his final word. But on that, he's Big Mike.
And that's Al Safiri, and Pat is on a mission from God. What he's doing, we have no idea. But it's been great. We'll see you guys next week.